Hello, welcome to BI111, Biological Diversity and Evolution. My name is Tristan Long. I'm a faculty member here in the Department of Biology here at Laurier, and it's my absolute pleasure and honor to be with you as your instructor this upcoming semester. I have worked here at Laurier for 10 years, and when I interviewed for my position here back in 2010, one of the first questions they asked was, well, what kind of classes do you have to teach? And I responded right away, I want to teach BI111. And that sort of caught the hiring committee off guard because this class is not necessarily the first choice for many people. First, there's a number of reasons for that. First of all, it covers a wide range of topics. As you're going to see from our syllabus, we're going to be covering pretty much everything from the molecular level of genes all the way through to ecosystem. So it covers a wide swath of different types of biology and looks at the different connections between all of them. Another reason is that this is a large class. There are somewhere in our two sections of 880 odd students enrolled in our sections, plus when you add in the other sections, we're almost over 900 students. So this is a fairly large class. And that can somewhat be intimidating. When under normal circumstances, when we're sort of sitting, sitting in BA201 with 440 of you, sort of sitting in one classroom, it can definitely be a little overwhelming. But for me, I really chose this class, and I love teaching this class, and I continue to teach this class because I think it is really rewarding, both for me and hopefully for you. Not only because I love all the topics of this class, I love understanding the causes and consequences of diversity and variation, both within species. We live on a small blue green planet on the unfashionable end of the western spiral arm of the Milky Way galaxy, and we live on this planet that is just teeming with life. Millions upon millions upon millions of different species. How many species? We actually have no clear idea. The best estimate to date is there's probably about something 8.7 eukaryotic species, which sounds like a lot, and by no counts, it definitely is a lot. But eukaryotes are only one small branch of the family tree. As you can sort of see here, there. This shows sort of the tree of life, if you will. It shows all the relatedness between the different branches of life. Eukaryotes are that small green slice on the bottom. And if you're trying to figure out where you are, plants are found right here, and humans are found right there. So how do we get all these different species? What are the processes that have led to this amazing diversification of species? So that 8.7 million is that small green slice. How many species are there in reality? Dozens of millions, billions? Who knows? Part of it is, a question of looking and understanding about them, but also sort of the definition of what is a species. Another question we're going to talk about this year. And trying to understand all this diversity and the relatedness between all these different species. The fact that all life on Earth shares a common origin, but has diversified and split and created this amazing diversity of this planet that's teeming with life is absolutely fascinating. One of the things I love, and understanding that even within each species, there is an amazing amount of variation. What are the origins of that variation? What are the consequences of that variation? What is the fate of that variation? So we're going to be sort of thinking about the history of life on Earth. We're going to be looking at the diversity of life on Earth, and we'll be looking about the future of life on Earth, trying to understand all these different important questions together. That's why I love BI111. The other reason why I said I wanted to teach BI111 is a more personal one. Back when I was an undergrad, back when I was your age, I was in one of the first sort of cohort years where they sort of invented the concept of the mega lecture. And at my undergrad, we sat in the basketball stadium, and it was dark, and they had essentially just figured out how to make like computer projectors and PowerPoint slides. You kind of get an idea about how long ago that was. And we'd all sit in this darkened room looking at slides, wordless slides on the screen. It was very soporific, and you doze off a little bit. Not the greatest learning environment. In fact, of all my first year grades, biology, the topic I loved most, was my worst class. And that was because I was not engaged at all with the material. So that has sat with me and been part of me in all these years as I've worked towards getting to where we are today. And so I have worked and trying to figure out pedagogical ways to get you more engaged, to get you more interested, and ultimately so you can get the most sort of bang for your buck out of this class. Because for the most part, there's some classical studies that show that the traditional lecture format is not a very effective way of communicating information. There's a famous study that found you retain only about 5% of the material that you would get in a traditional lecture, which is not pretty impressive, to be kind. And so, luckily, we know how to get people to retain more information and to get more out of classes. And that's by being more active participants in their learning, to be more engaged with the material. And so this class is designed to get you more engaged. Instead of being passive, to actually engage. And there are many different ways that we can do this. And part of it involves whether we're going to be going back into person or not in February. But even if not, there are a lot of different ways in which we get you far more engaged in the material and going beyond just simply definitions from your textbook. That we wanted, this class is going to be applying ideas and concepts to new scenarios and new topics and platforms for you to apply your knowledge that you're gaining into new and exciting ways. So that's going to take many, many different formats, and we're going to walk through that the course of the semester. Now, this class is broken into two different components. We have the lecture component, this is the first video of the lecture component, as well as the tutorial component. The lecture is worth 70% of your final grade. Your tutorial is worth 30% of your final grade. You have to pass both parts in order to pass the class. There is a special syllabus that's made exclusively for the tutorials that you should be able to get off the tutorial My Learning page. You're going to want to purchase some software called Symbio software. It's $6 US, and this is part of the sort of different things that you'll be doing in your tutorials. You'll be engaged in sort of in-person activities, but between tutorials, you're also going to be collecting your own data and doing analysis of data using sort of simulation packages. So it's really fun, it's very exciting, and I think you're going to get a lot out of it. The first tutorials and the tutorials this semester are all going to be online, so I think we're going to sort of stick with that way, just to sort of keep consistency for you. The lecture component is broken up into a couple of different things. We're going to be having a midterm. The midterm is going to be the final Friday before reading week. It's going to be conducted online, and we're going to be having a final exam, hopefully online, during the end of the year. We're going to see how things go for that. As I sort of said, the other parts of this class are meant to get you more engaged in the material. And the one way we can get you engaged in the material is by having video lectures like that we're going to see in the following weeks that are talking about new concepts and ideas. But that's not a really effective way to go over definition and stuff. So it's much better if before you watch the week's videos that if you have read the textbook material. But you have a lot of things happening in your lives, so to give you a little incentive and a little reward for reading ahead, that every week there's going to be an entrance quiz. That is a very simple 10 multiple choice question that's really sort of definitional in nature. That is based on the upcoming week's readings. So you'll have 2 hours to complete this quiz. It's going to have many days that's available for you, so you can fit into your schedule when it's most convenient for you after you've done the readings. And that's going to contribute to your sort of final grade, and it's a great way so that you are prepared for those more complicated topics and ideas in the video lectures. Now, at the end of each week, after we've covered all those case studies and strange scenarios and new ideas, there's going to be an exit quiz that is going to be based more on those more advanced concepts. So every single week, you're going to have an entrance quiz for what's coming up, and an exit quiz based on what you've just covered. So those two things are going to get you far more engaged in the material, and it's also going to be useful for you to sort of assess your understanding of the material as we progress through the semester. And it also diversifies your grades, because that means that all those small, low-stakes assignments build up over the course of the semester. Those exit quizzes are really going to be focusing more on understanding of an expertise on the sort of subject matter. The other things we have happening this semester, we're going to be having biology journals, which is a fun way in which you can work on your observational and writing skills. There's going to be a separate video that talks all about that. And if we go back to in person, we're also going to be having using the Cloud iClicker software platform, but hold off purchasing that software access code until you hear from me, because there's no need to purchase it if we're going to be staying online. So, and as you can see in the syllabus, there are two different grade breakdowns depending on which scenario we end up in. Now, all that being said, there's a lot of material in this class. There is a lot of things happening in your lives, and it can sometimes be a bit overwhelming to make sure how do you know you're going to do well in this class. Well, in order to sort of succeed in this class, here's a couple things. There's a lot of different resources that are helpful. First of all, our learning objectives. So for every single week's worth of lectures, I have prepared a sort of a list of different tasks and skills that I would hope that everyone would be able to accomplish by the end of the week. They're broken down into the basic learning objectives, and these are more definitional things, lists and stuff like that. These dovetail with the entrance quiz, and they're really just the key terms pulled from the textbook. Things that you can sort of say, okay, do I understand this? Can I recite this definition? Things like that. The advanced learning objectives are the ones that are more the applied ideas and concepts. Can you actually take the ideas, the underlying concepts, and apply them to new scenarios? So those are more advanced, and those are sort of listed for things I would hope you'd be able to achieve. Now, these learning objectives are already listed on the My Learning Space page, and they're really useful not only as your way to essentially assess whether you need help, if there's anything you're not sure about, but they're also useful for when you're preparing for things like the midterm and the final exam, because I use those learning objectives as my list and saying, I'm going to write a question because I've said this is one skill, this is one question, this is one idea that I hope everyone has got out. So integrating that learning objective as you're reading through the material, as you're watching the videos is great, and checking off and saying, oh, I know all this, I know this, I understand this, and it helps identify areas where you need to work on it, areas that you're an expert on. So second resource to help you out are student hours. So student hours are times that I have put aside to help you out, either in group settings or in one-on-one scenarios. So I have put aside our Wednesdays and Friday class times where I know you're free, and we're going to use those as large Zoom sessions. They drop in. So you have any questions, you can come in, ask your questions, or just listen in and see what other people are asking. We often don't really know what we don't know until we hear what other people don't know. Almost sounded profound. So please come on by. You can even drop in, just listen. You can ask your question. You can drop it into the chat. There's lots of different ways that you can sort of engage. You can also write me an email. My email is listed on the syllabus. You can write to me via the My Learning Space email. and I will get back to you as quickly as I possibly can. And I can really help out with those issues. Other things that are other important resource we have are SI instructors, or supplementary instructors. This year we have Ekane, Sam, and Michaela, who are running sessions on Sunday through Thursday of every week, and these are sort of 80-minute review sessions that talk about the things that we are talking about in the class, and they're here to help you out. And let's not forget that there are 880 of us. So again, talk to your friends. Make BI111 buddies. Often we can the things that we can even help explain something to someone else. It really shows that you have a true understanding and expertise in a matter. And things that you are experts in may not be the things that your friends are. And so you can help each other out. All those things would help. And if in doubt, just drop me an email or come by student hours, and I'm going to help you out through all this. Now, this is our first lecture of this week, and we're going to have a couple more lectures dropped this week, videos that cover the basics of genetic inheritance and expression. Now, these are not, this is maybe some review to some of you, and one of the reasons why we have this is because next year we're going to be talking about population genetics. And for some of you, maybe a while since you've taken 12U, or maybe you didn't take 12U, you took 11U biology. So in order that everybody is on the same starting point, then we're going to talk about some ideas about the relationship between genotype and phenotype. And so next week, when we start talking about throwing out terms like recessive and dominant, that they're not lost. So these are not going to be directly tested topics, but they're ones for review. And I hope you find them somewhat enjoyable to watch. After this week, we're going to start with population genetics, and then we're going to start talking about evolution, evolutionary patterns, and try to understand patterns of diversification, understanding sort of how we understand the world around us. Those are all going to be really interesting topics, and I hope you do enjoy them. Now, on a final note, I do want to point out that your mental and physical health is of paramount importance to me. It is extremely hard to learn under stressful scenarios, and I think we all understand, how stressful life can be these days. So if you're having any problems, any questions with anything like that, anything that is on your mind or interfering with your ability to perform in this class, reach out to me. I'm here to help in any way that I can. I want you to succeed in this class, and I want you to, more importantly, to do well for yourself and for your families and your friends. So please, if there's anything I can do, I honestly want to hear from you. I'm here to help. I think that's pretty much everything I had planned to put into this video. I will see you, hopefully, in our first student session, which is happening on Wednesday. And if while you're waiting, feel free to read the syllabus. There's lots of really good, important things in there. And it is going to be the topic of our first exit quiz. So again, an incentive for you to read the syllabus. There will be a very simple quiz based on things you can pull from it. That's all, and I hope to see you soon. Take care of yourselves. Bye.